A doting father dies and leaves all of his belongings to his 3 sons in a peculiar manner that's laid out in his will. The eldest son should receive half of the father's estate, the middle son should receive 1/3 of the estate, and the youngest should receive 1/9 of the estate. Naturally, the sons are very excited to inherit their father's riches. However, their old man was a very narrow-minded fella. When he dies, his estate consists of nothing but 17 camels. Unfortunately, the father's camel collection and the peculiar nature of his will make for a rather incongruous pair. The 3 sons, as wise as they are unsure how to distribute the 17 camels among themselves in accordance with their father's will. Sure, they could grab a blade and hack some of the camels into pieces as necessary to achieve this fractional allotment, but they know all too well the problem that their father had with fractions, and he certainly wouldn't approve of that. They then consider a more straightforward possibility. Half of the 17 camels is 8.5, rounded up is 9 camels, and then 1/3 of the 17 camels is 5.6 repeating, rounded up is 6 camels. And then 1/9 of the 17 camels is 1.8 repeating, rounded up is 2. So the boys think maybe the eldest gets 9 camels, the middle child gets 6, and the youngest gets 2. This accounts for all 17 camels, and we haven't cut any of them into pieces, but they just can't bring themselves to do it. This isn't what the father's will said. 9 is not half of his 17 camels. Running out of ideas and desperate for help, the 3 sons visit their local priest and seek his counsel. At this point, if you haven't already, you might want to pause the video and try to resolve this situation yourself. As with his priestly wisdom, we will now arrive at the solution. The priest, deeply impressed by the boys' resolve to adhere to their father's will, gives them the only gift that anybody in this town ever gives, which is a camel. He assures them that with this additional camel as part of their father's estate, all will work out. Returning to their homestead, which now consists of 18 camels, the boys have no trouble working things out. The eldest, as necessary, gets 1/2 of the father's now total of 18 camels. Thus, he gets 9 camels. What a deal. The middle child, also in accordance with his father's will, gets 1/3 of his father's grand total now of 18 camels. He makes out with 6 camels. And the youngest child doesn't make out too bad either, getting 1/9 of his father's total of 18 camels. He now is the proud owner of 2 camels. Now the boys are overjoyed, not just because they're the lucky owners of so many camels, but because after accurately carrying out their father's will, they have 1 camel left over. Their hearts now being filled with merriment, much like a camel's humps are filled with water, they go to see the priest again to give him a most generous gift, the gift of a camel. All's well that ends well, and this has got to be one of the most heartwarming stories I've read since the almost got ripped off story in Danica's diary from Kiss My Math. Math always has a way of coming to the rescue. This puzzle, all on its own, perhaps feels a little bit cheap. It's not clear that we can solve the problem by just introducing an extra camel. Though if you take the time to line up the late father's 17 camels, it does seem pretty obvious that something is missing. And of course, it's not a tremendous leap to recognize that 17 camels is 1 short of 18 camels, which plays very nice with division by 2, 3, and 9. But regardless of whether or not the puzzle all on its own is a bit of a cheap trick, it does involve some interesting math, and there's been a lot of variations and threads researched regarding this problem. Indeed, it's a very famous puzzle, a bit of a classic, dating at least as far back as 1872, when it appeared in a book called Hanky Panky, a book of conjuring tricks by the German magician Wiljaba Frickel. Since then, this problem and variations have been covered in many articles and collections of math puzzles, including from the famous puzzle creators Samuel Lloyd and Henry Dudney. One of the interesting variations of this problem involves a different number of camels and a slightly different will to be carried out. Imagine the same problem as before, but now instead of 17 camels, we have 13 camels. Of course, we're not changing the animal here, that would be too big of a change, but 13 camels, and they're to be distributed amongst 3 sons in the proportions of 1/2 to go to the eldest, 1/3 to go to the middle child, and 1/4 to go to the youngest. And again, we'll assume these are the instructions laid out in a father's will, so that the involved parties have a reason to be strangely devoted to carrying it out exactly. A similar issue as before is immediately apparent, since 13 doesn't cut evenly in half, thirds, or fourths. But there is a key difference. In the original version of the problem, the least common multiple of these denominators was 18, and the number of camels was 1 less, 17. In this situation, though, the least common multiple of the denominators is 12. The number of camels is 1 more. Indeed, 1/2 is the same as 6/12, 1/3 is the same as 4/12, and 1/4 is the same as 3/12. Adding these all up, of course, accounts for more of the estate than the father actually has, 13/12. The children are not sure how to sort this out, and they're wise enough to not go to the priest because they know he's just going to give them another camel, which is the whole problem to begin with. So this time, the 3 boys visit this dashing lawyer, who quickly solves the problem. He's new to town, and he wants nothing more than one of the local camels, so he takes one of the father's camels as a fee for the consultation. The boys, now short 1 camel of their father's estate, are able to put everything in proper order. Now the oldest will receive 1/2 of the father's 12 camels, which is an even 6, the middle will receive 1/3, which of course is 4, and the youngest will receive 1/4 of the 12 camels, and that's 3. Everything works out. There's another variation of this problem which I'm sure you'll get a kick out of, from a book called El Hombre que Calculaba, The Man Who Counted. This is by the author Julio César de Mello y Souza. This is a pen name. See if you can crack this variation of the problem. This time around, things are even crazier. We have 35 camels. The proportions are as in the original variation, 1/2 to the eldest child, 1/3 to the middle child, and 1/9 to the youngest. As you'll see, this is what I think they would call the Marvel Avengers of camel inheritance problems. Again, 35 can't be cleanly cut in 2 or in 3 or into 9 pieces. And we know from our first experience resolving camel inheritance problems that these fractions added up will be 17/18. In the original problem, where we had 17 camels, this math shows us clearly that we're 1 camel short, but in this case there's no such connection between these numbers. Maybe we should double this then. Then these numbers will be a little bit closer to this one. By double, I don't mean actually double, I just mean scale it up by a factor of 2. So let's multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. This of course doesn't change the value of the fraction, but now we're looking at 34 divided by 36. The denominator is 36, and we have 35 camels. This suggests that we should go see the priest. We attend the church service, and in this great town where Sunday is hump day, he gives us a free camel. Now that their father's estate consists of 36 camels, our handsome young men are able to carry out their father's will without issue. Or so they think. The eldest son gets half of the 36 camels, so he gets 18. The middle child gets 1/3 of the 36 camels, that's 12 camels. And then the youngest gets 1/9 of the 36 camels, so he gets 4 camels. But as is often the case in this town when doing anything, the sons realize after carrying out the will that they have 2 extra camels, because these numbers only add to 34, but they had 36 camels total. So, in an act of generosity not soon to be forgotten, they go back to their local priest and give him his camel back. Still with an extra camel and not wanting to accidentally do anything that's not in accordance with their father's will, the sons then visit the lawyer and seek his counsel. To sort the issue out, the lawyer requests payment of a single camel. With the second camel in tow, the lawyer can return home and start to amass a truly respectable collection, and the sons have now sorted out the issue entirely. You may think that's overcomplicating the issue of having extra camels. We could in theory sacrifice the extra camels to the Texas Instruments swagulator. This would avoid the need for visits to the priest and the lawyer, but heretics would call that solution grotesque and unsatisfying. All of those problems involved 3 lucky boys inheriting camels, but there's no reason it would have to be just 3. In general, an inheritance problem of this sort would have to consist of numbers n1 through nk, so that each n is greater than the previous one, and if we add their reciprocals with the reciprocal of their least common multiple, we get unity, the beautiful number 1. In the classic version of this problem, those numbers are 2, 3, 9, and their least common multiple, 18. And of course we have that 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/9 plus 1/18 is equal to 1. The mathematician J.J. Sylvester, who's known for many things, like introducing the word matrix, studied an interesting sequence of numbers that can be truncated at any point to give a solution to this equation. The idea is to start with the first 2 prime numbers, 2 and 3, and then for each subsequent term, multiply all the preceding ones together and add 1. 2 times 3 is 6, add 1 to get 7. Because of how this next term was created, it's guaranteed to have no factors in common with the preceding terms. For the next term, we'd multiply all of these numbers together. 2 times 3 is 6, times 7 is 42, add 1 and get 43. Because of how it's created, it's guaranteed to not have any factors in common with the other numbers in the sequence. Multiplying all these together and adding 1, we would get the number 1807. 1807, if you're wondering, is not prime. It's equal to 13 times 139. The cool thing with this sequence is we can truncate it at any point. Stop here, stop here, stop here, stop here, wherever you like, and what you have is going to be a solution to the aforementioned equation. For example, we could stop here at 1807. Then we'll have a solution to this equation with 5 n's and thus 5 lucky sons getting camels. The least common multiple, because all of the numbers in the sequence are relatively prime, the least common multiple will be all of these numbers multiplied together. So here are our 5 handsome young men, and these are the ratios of camels they're entitled to in accordance with the terms of the sequence. Just imagine being the youngest son in this situation.
What? I only get 1/1807th of Dad's camels? Well, shit, the old man better have a ton of camels then.
Indeed, to finish the setup of this problem, the father in question would need to have 3,263,441 camels. This would then make him 1 camel short of the least common multiple of these denominators, and of course the happy children could go visit the priest, get an extra camel, and everything would work out. You could cut this sequence off earlier at 2-3 or 2-3-7 to look at some smaller examples, and of course you could carry it on longer to get more preposterous ones. But that's a little bit about this classic camel inheritance puzzle. Let me know in the comments if you've seen any interesting variations, and if you like my videos, please consider supporting what I do by joining Wrath of Math as a channel member. You can get early and exclusive access to all sorts of fun videos, original music, lectures, and more, and be sure to subscribe for more of the swankiest math videos on the internet.
I'm unstable, revealing art to keep the cable cut and unsort the table. If Texas Instruments don't reply, I think this time it might be fatal. Wish to sell my own fake, cause I'm jaded.
Hate the odds that I calculated.
Press and pull and pray and push it all the way through the whole blue
Planet faded.
Psychosomatic habits, why you so